thinking about going to jail for 250 years, that's a terrible, terrible feeling. You don't know whether you're going to see your family or not. And just that burden on you is rough. And that's what he did. He, oh, just the thought of that man makes me sick. Him being talking on the attorney general. What are you gonna be?
Attorney General.
Uh-huh.
As a child and a teenager, I saw evidence of discrimination virtually every day. I think even the youth of our time were aware of the historic events that were beginning to unfold in Selma, but probably not fully understanding the significance of it. The first peaceful march was stopped violently by the state troopers. Seeing that film, I always see Albert Turner Sr. in the front with his white hat going down when the troopers attacked.
And he said, well, you got to learn at your age, you got to learn to forgive and forget. I said, I might forgive him, but I'll never, as long as I live, will not forget Jeff Sessions. My name is Evelyn Hatch Turner, and I'm one of the Marion Three, the only one alive. The other two are gone. Big Al was something else. Everybody trusted him. Whatever they needed or whatever they wanted to know, they called Mr. Turner. He was the field director for Dr. Martin Luther King for the state of Alabama.
When the activity of the organization became under scrutiny by Senator Sessions' Justice Department out of Mobile, people casted votes. The outcome of the election was favorable to the Perry County Civic League. Then they marched hundreds of people by bus to Mobile before a federal grand jury. They indicted and arrested my father, my mother, and they were indicted before a federal jury and tried in federal court in Selma, Alabama. That trial went on 2 or 3 months. Hundreds of witnesses, hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent. It was very trying. So I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about 1986 when the trial, 85 when the trial was over with. I thank God that my mother and my father and Mr. Hogue was exonerated in less than an hour. We didn't have to spend all day there pacing. We got there that morning and closing statements were made. And after those closing statements were made, the jury went back there for a little while and came back and not guilty, and we hugged, we shouted, we were happy. But at no time did Jeff Sessions say anything derogatory towards our family or my father or my mother. He said he had a job to do. The evidence presented itself, and his office presented the case. That's what a prosecutor does. If he had the evidence, then you'll be found guilty. If you don't have the evidence, you'll be found not guilty. So I don't carry any malice around personally. But for my mother, who actually had to agonize about whether or not she was going to have 100 years in prison or not for something she knew she didn't do. I can understand her hesitation.
It was a trumped up job. That's what it was. A way of trying to scare blacks from registering to vote. That's all it was. But they came out in full numbers. And we got blacks in office now that we wouldn't have had it not been for the vote fraud trial. We don't have to beg nobody to go to the poll now. They go.
I am not a racist. I am not insensitive to blacks. I have supported civil rights activity in my state. I have done my job with integrity, equality, and fairness for all.
My perspective is this right here. The people making these allegations against Senator Sessions don't know him. In the last 30 years, they probably haven't spent 10 hours with him. I spent 10 years working with him, 10 years working with him as his top legal advisor, and there have been no situations where I've been discouraged from working with Senator Sessions. There have been no statements that he made have been inappropriate. So the people making these allegations are just lying, and they should stop the smear campaign. Jeff Sessions does not have any racial animus. It's just false.
If God come down here and say, Evelyn, he done change. I said, well, Lord, if you say so, I got to believe it. But other than that, nobody gonna get me to believe Sessions will change. Nobody. Not in a million years.